24 Feb. 65. Dearest Suzie, I received your letter today saying you got your ring. I was sure glad to hear that you liked it. I was beginning to worry about you getting it. It took long enough getting there. I hope everybody is over the virus down there. I guess this is the right time of year for it. You didn't congratulate me on making chief. You hurt my feelings. Ha ha. How is Billy doing in school these days? You haven't mentioned him in quite a while. I still haven't heard from John and Flo, but I'm sure it is as you say about her being sick. When you write your mother again, tell her that I will send her something as soon as I can go to town. It is still off limits. I will write to her soon. I owe a lot of people a letter right now. Your mother, my ma, and B. I still don't hear from Minnie. On air medals, I haven't been awarded any yet, but I have earned 7. It will probably take another 2 months before we get the first one, but we will probably get 3 or 4 at one time. Don't worry, I will send you the medal itself when I get it. I'll be bragging about it. Everything is the same over here. We flew all day today. We worry about being overrun all the time. In fact, we had an outpost about 4 miles from here overrun today. About 20 troops killed and I don't know how many missing. Never a dull moment. I love you all very much and miss you more than you can ever know. All my love, Bill. Popi made international news once, and it had nothing to do with Vietnam. He was arrested and detained by Papua New Guinea for allegedly fishing illegally in their waters when he was a tuna boat captain, long after his time in the service. He always said he knew he was screwed when the man walked in with the bone in his nose and feather in his hair and was allegedly the judge. That was going to be the person dealing with his case, responsible for releasing him to the U.S. and getting everything squared away with his boat, crew, and load of fish. My dad was playing touch football in his front yard with his friends when a neighbor ran outside and told him to turn on the TV onto the world news because they were talking about Popi getting arrested. A few minutes later, the State Department called my family's house, asking for my grandmother. She was at the tanning salon she worked at to help support the 4 boys, and my dad had to relay the message when she got home that someone important needed to speak with her. At least, that's the story I was told. One day, when talking to my grandmother and father about all the pictures, letters, and everything else, my dad decided to mention his theory about Popi, his service and his time on the tuna boat. He thinks Popi was in the CIA. Well, maybe not in the CIA, but a contractor for the CIA? What a good cover, huh? When Popi died, we looked through his things, and we found papers that he had to fill out in the early 60s when the CIA did a background check on him. There was even a paper Mima had to fill out swearing she wasn't a communist and listing character references. In that case, the arrest wasn't for fishing, it was for something else entirely. I don't particularly know why he'd be spying on Papua New Guinea, but who knows? Is my dad's theory well-founded in logic and reasoning, based on evidence and confirmation from Popi? Or is it an attempt for a son to make up a story to explain why his dad was never around when he was growing up? Instead of being a drunk, could his dad transform into some CIA contractor saving countless lives and doing things he couldn't even tell us about because they were so important? You tell me. What would be easier to live with? What would make it all more worth it? The photo I chose for today depicts a group of guys standing around a helicopter. They have papers and look to be planning something. The airplane appears to be on an airfield or some sort of base with a gate and fencing in the background. Perhaps this was a common sight for Popi before his missions, as he and his comrades planned their flights together. I'm Alex Lowy, and I hope you have enjoyed listening to this episode of Dearest Suzie, and receiving messages from the past that my Popi wrote exactly 60 years ago. I sincerely appreciate your time and interest. Please consider following the podcast on your preferred platform, and if you're enjoying it, I kindly ask that you take the time to rate the show and leave a review. Also, please follow the project on YouTube, X, and Instagram. All likes, comments, shares, and reviews will help grow the reach of this story. The links for these things should be in the description of this episode. Please feel free to email me at dearestsuziepodcast@gmail.com if you have anything you'd like to say. I'd love to chat or to hear about your stories as well. Thank you for listening. and God bless.